I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
He is terrible!
We gotta know how many wieners are going down these dudes' throats.
I'm gonna go quick because I don't give a fuck about anything that's gonna happen on Saturday.
Hello, boys! We are back with another episode of the MMA-Analysis podcast. We are a little short-handed at this time, but I got my across-the-border neighbor, New Shaun, Canada's finest, the teenager, turning to be an adolescent. I heard you're coming back across the border this week. Is that accurate?
The teenager is invading America once again.
Wow. This is like the opposite of Canadian bacon. This is like Taylor ham or something.
Yeah, heading down to Denver. I fly out Thursday night, and meeting up with Wes and Trish and Jerry, and maybe even I'm gonna do some hanging with the old ball coach.
Wow, that's cool. You're gonna have fun down there.
Yep.
I think you've been to Colorado a couple times already, right?
Yeah, once before. Went to a fight card. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yes, you enjoyed it out there.
You betcha.
Okay, very good.
And I enjoy the greenery in Denver.
Yeah, I guess you would like that, but you don't really have to concern yourself with that much more now with Canada changing their laws. So
it's very true.
Yeah, so I mean, what's kind of the point, right?
They got edibles in Denver. We don't have edibles in Canada yet, so.
Yeah, why is that? That's weird.
I don't know. It was a shit show just to get the flower legal. The edibles is coming. It's just another step that the government has to take their sweet ass time getting through. But so in the meantime, we'll just do what we can.
Speaking of government, I don't know what's going on with the legal sanctioning bodies over in Asia. New Shaun, tell me, what the hell is this? Like,
out of the blue.
I mean, honestly, what % chance do you think this actually happens? Some guy named Tenshin, a kickboxer, and Floyd Mayweather doing what? What are they doing? Holding hands? Using boxing gloves? Like, what are we talking about here?
It's very random. Just comes out of the blue. They have a press conference. Both Tenshin and Mayweather were there, but they couldn't even announce what the rules are. Like, I remain skeptical. Japan does know how to put on these freak show fights, so I wouldn't put it past them. It's wild. I thought Floyd was done after doing his freak show fight with Conor McGregor and cashing in, but I guess he wants to invade the Asian market and get some of that money. So, yeah, I don't know what the odds of this happening are. Some people are speculating that it's going to be like a 4-round boxing fight. That seems kind of like a fucking waste. If this is going to be on pay-per-view and you're going to have to put some hard-earned money, it's got to be a 10-round boxing fight, 10, 12-round boxing fight.
Yeah. I mean, do you think it makes sense to just lay the money in now without the rules actually being stated?
There's no way that Floyd Mayweather would take this fight if he's going to get kicked. There's no fucking way.
Why would he risk it?
He wouldn't.
After all of the hoopla, all of a sudden he's going to do something else? He's
not. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Especially at his age, with his little chicken legs, like
when he could have done this against McGregor and actually faced a much more well-known opponent in a different sport or a different discipline.
There's no way.
And he said, nope, it's got to be my rules. Now he's going to go fight in Japan against some other guy that barely anybody knows that has 100 and something thousand Twitter followers, and now he's going to fight him under someone else's rules? I mean, I don't believe it.
No, there's no way.
It's against boxing rules, or it's not going to happen. Am I right?
You are 100% correct, because
there is no guy that's obsessed with his undefeated record or his legacy more than Mayweather is, as far as I know. And now he's going to risk that against a no-name?
No.
Makes no sense, right?
I mean, I guess they're looking like Rizin's looking to make some money, but this is crazy. Like,
It is.
I don't know. There's just no way that Floyd's going to take a leg kick because he takes one and it's over. So there's no way in hell he would allow this to happen, even for the amount of money that he's going to make on this. There's just no way. So this is going to be a boxing fight, and who knows at this point what even that constitutes, whether it's an exhibition, how many rounds, who the fuck knows. But you always like the Japan freak show fights, so why not another one?
Now here's the next thing. How are they going to pay this guy?
That is a very good question. I know a lot of the MMA reporters, that was one of the bigger questions that they were trying to figure out. Supposedly, some leaks have come out that Rizin's paying about 70% of what Mayweather's going to make. He thinks he's going to pull in about $100 million, 10 billion yen. And Rizin supposedly paying 7 billion of the 10 billion yen. And then the rest is going to be pay-per-view and broadcast rights, but I don't know if that's true. I mean, it's going to be in Japan on New Year's Eve. The time difference is really fucked. Like, this'll happen at what time? Like 3 in the morning? Is that usually?
Yeah, I don't know,
3, 4 in the morning, something like that. Like,
yeah, I think it's 12-hour time difference, or maybe 13.
Something like that. So I don't know what's gonna happen here. I mean, it's just something interesting, something to ruffle some feathers. Who knows if it actually happens? But you got to take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that's crazy. So much. I mean, we've heard of some. I mean, we witnessed an MMA fighter going to boxing to fight a boxer. I mean, and you know, just a year ago. I mean, so is it really that much of a surprise to see something even as bizarre as this?
No, especially with the one guy that was a part of that.
Yeah.
It's half of the matchup. So I guess we shouldn't be surprised by any of this anymore. It's just the guy he's fighting is just a question mark. But I don't know. Maybe there's a big Japanese or Asian market that Floyd's trying to get in. I don't know if he's opening up some other business over there, and this is just kind of another way to get in there. I don't know. Who knows?
No one knows.
No one knows at this point.
That's exactly what the issue is. Nobody fucking knows. That is MMA at this point.
Yes,
Nobody
sir.
knows. So yeah, last weekend at Madison Square Garden, UFC 230. Biggest prop cash of the night, right on the first fight.
We jinxed
guy
it.
who only wins in the first round of fights.
We jinxed
Wins a
it.
decision. He took a guy down and just held him down.
We both said, we're like, there's no way he can win a decision. So I took him inside the distance for 60 more cents. I thought it was pretty safe, and you were looking maybe first round or something like that. And
Yep.
And he wrestled his way to a one-sided decision. Couple chances there, but nothing really close there. That was that was not really close to cashing inside the distance.
Nope.
What was it? Plus 1,000, plus 1,500, something like that.
Yep.
Fuck, that's crazy. Wasn't there back to back?
No, plus 1,100, I think.
Jesus.
Something like that. Yeah.
And then the fight right after that, there was another big cash too. If you go with the submission prop, that was a big one too. So it was kind of a weird start to the night.
Pretty wild, I'd say. Yeah, crazy. And then the next fight, Shane Burgos, submits Kurohalaba by an armbar. It was his first submission victory in like 5 years. I think it's for Burgos. It was pretty sweet. Good fight.
Gets dropped.
Yeah.
Burgos, like they both look good. Holloway impressed me with his striking at the start of that fight. It was pretty. It looked a lot better than what we've seen in the past. He was able to drop Burgos, but Burgos snatched that up. A little bit concerning with Burgos back-to-back fights where, well, the last one he got KO'd and this one he gets dropped early by Kurt Holloway. That's something that you gotta keep in mind with him, because I don't know what his chin is like, but pretty awesome way to snatch a armbar right after he gets dropped.
Right. No, that's true. Interesting times with that one. I am a Burgos fan. I don't think that guy knows how to put on a boring fight.
Definitely not. They were in tight and they were slanging.
Sure. Next bout was great too. Really a good set of prelims overall. Well, except for the Lima fight, but whatever. But this fight was great. Matt Frevola and Lando Venata. Majority decision, new Shaun.
Majority draw.
Majority draw. 2 judges had it as a draw. 1 gave it to Frevola. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I had it as a draw. I didn't watch it live. I watched this yesterday. I gave Venata a 10-8 in the second round, I believe.
And Frevola the first and the third.
Yeah.
That's how I scored it.
I think that was pretty cut and dry. We warned people with Venata. He's
mookie.
He gets hit a lot, and I mean, props to Frevola. He looked pretty impressive in this fight. He was throwing some heat.
Took that head kick,
and he could take a kick, take a punch, and his cardio was there for damn near the whole fight. So, props to him. But yeah, he Lando Venata. We warned a bit about laying the juice with his fighting style. Just gets hit way too much.
Exactly. Definitely gets hit too much. So, welterweight division up to the televised card.
Surprise.
Ben Saunders. Surprise! Lyman Good knockout win. Ben Saunders knocked out again. New Shaun, is it time?
It's over, man. Go do. I think Mr. Ben Saunders needs to go do some jiu-jitsu matches, because that chin and then that brain of his is just not good anymore. Is that his third KO loss this year? I believe so. That is his. No, he got submitted by Sergio Moraes, but that is 4 KOs in his last 5 fights, going back about a year and a half. That's not good. He should hang him up and go do jiu-jitsu. Lyman Good minus 600 and looked like there was some value.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. Next fight, a little surprised from my perspective. Did pick Moraes and Toutmaster, but he didn't have too much of a problem with Julio Arce. I think it was there's definitely a size discrepancy, and I think that's what really pushed Moraes over the edge. Did you see it that way as well? Yeah,
big size discrepancy, and that first round where he dropped him and almost finished him, that was a big momentum shift. I think that kind of put Arce on the back pedal to start the fight. So impressive. I cashed Sergio Moraes as a plus 300. I was pretty damn happy with that. That elbow of his that sliced Arce open was pretty deadly. Surprised they didn't look more into that for stopping the fight, because that mat was pretty stained after that fight. But Arce's still a good fighter. He's got quite a bit of skill, so we'll see how he rebounds after a fight like that. And Moraes is, I think, still underrated.
Totally. Roxy Modafferi lost a decision to the woman who thinks that she should headline every fight card, Sijara Eubanks. This really wasn't interesting, now was it?
I didn't even watch it, so I didn't want to give Eubanks any more clicks than she deserved, and it sounds like she didn't deserve any. So
totally fair.
This is a girl that's going to talk all this shit about getting a title fight, and she can't even finish Roxanne Modafferi. You're like, get the fuck out of here.
I mean,
is that fair?
Is anyone a fan of this guy at all?
No.
I mean, it's embarrassing.
That whole division's kind of embarrassing. I mean, finally, with Shevchenko and Joanna, then it'll actually give it some legitness. But at this point, it was created from tough, and you got a bunch of shitty fighters, and then some girls from 135 dropping to 125, and some bigger girls at 115 coming up. Like, it's just a shit show. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, no one gives a shit is right. Televised headliner.
Yeah,
televised headliner. Mississippi Mean, Jason Knight.
Another guy we warned.
Good, man. Another fadeaway. Jordan Rinaldi had no problem with him. Was able to get him down to the mat easily. For a guy that's still young, he's in his mid-20s, has any fighter in the UFC regressed more than Jason Knight, who should be in his prime fighting years in recent time? I mean, he's fallen significantly.
I don't know if it's regressed or it's just the matchups or it's just we kind of overrated him after some fun fights.
Where he's just not, I'm not going to say he's not motivated, but he's just not, I don't know what the word is, Shaun. It's just, I feel like he's out of confidence. I think he's a fighter who does well with confidence.
Yeah, it's a bad string of losses. I mean, they're against decent fighters up to, I guess, Rinaldi. We don't know at this point, but I don't know. He's definitely going to struggle if he goes against anybody that can wrestle because they'll plant him on his back, and then he seems to be kind of a fish out of water. So, in my opinion, you match him up against fun fighters. I mean, he's never going to be a title contender. Just put him with some strikers, and we'll have some fun fights. Is there anything wrong with that?
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Why would there be?
No, it's just like not every. They don't have to match up everybody for what like a title reign or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be real with both Jason Knight and the UFC. Let's try to get Jason Knight fight of the night and performance of the night bonuses, and we'll get some entertaining fights, and he's gonna not really ever get closer to a title shot.
No, he's not. No. Pay-per-view. One guy we do like, Jesus. Israel Adesanya, continues his winning ways. Another knockout over Brunson. I mean, was there ever any doubt? I mean, Derek Brunson against a striker.
Jesus.
What happened?
Just filthy. So I laid the juice on Adesanya, but I also played Adesanya by decision. I thought I didn't think it would be as brutal as it was. I thought Brunson would be a little more tentative. It seemed like he had the right game plan. He was looking to wrestle. He wasn't looking to strike with Adesanya because we know what was going to happen. But good on Adesanya. That fucking takedown defense was legit. He was stuffing that, and then Brunson is absolutely screwed. And Adesanya got to put on, add another highlight reel finish and a bunch of other highlights to his reel. The rumor comes out today that Adesanya might be fighting Costa, the co-main event for the Australia card, 232, I believe, which is good because the title fight is Whitaker versus Gastelum. So if there's any issues, we got a replacements. So
right,
I love it. That's awesome.
You make a lot of points. Good points. Really good. That would be a barn burner. I mean, fans win. That's really what matters most. One more fight, or we have actually 3 more middleweight fights in a row, so 4 in a row on the pay-per-view card. Carl Roberson and Jack Marshman. Not much to say here, right, Shaun? Better athlete beating worse athlete.
Yeah, just domination, but not as too much damage done. Just better athlete, wide decision. Yeah, I guess we'll see what Roberson can do next.
Yeah. Who cares? Mm-hmm. I would say the surprise of the night.
Yep.
Jared Cannonier KO's David Branch. New Shaun?
Yeah, I lost a good chunk of change on this one. I had the fight to go to decision for a unit and a third, and had Brunson by decision for a third of a unit, and that went up in flames fairly quickly. It looked to be like a fairly standard David Branch fight, lots of grinding and things like that, but Cannonier, just the body change in that guy, if you do a side-by-side of him from heavyweight to him at middleweight, it looks like a totally different person. He's shredded now. Nice win. Good knockout. We'll see what he can do. I know he was kind of overmatched at light heavy and heavyweight, so if he can keep cardio, and he's got some skills. Fun guy to watch. The African American Jew from Alaska. He might be one of the most interesting people in the world.
He's the only one.
Yeah,
that's okay. Co-main event, and this ended up winning the fight of the night. I'm not sure it was the fight of the night. I mean, it was great. I thought the Favola Venata fight was excellent too.
Yeah.
Weidman up 2-0 on 2 scorecards. Wow. All he had to do is get to the finish line, but he can't do it. Jacare clocks him. He falls down. Ref should have stopped it there. Tandan just lets Weidman continue to get punched. Has Weidman? It's not only had some bad luck and some rough, and some third round losses, but he's taken some extra punishment unnecessarily several times in his career now.
Yeah,
brutal.
That's why I was a bit worried about him in this fight. He's just hurt so much, and he has definitely taken that damage in the last bunch of fights. I was kind of now that you say it, I didn't know that two of the judges had him up 2 rounds to none. I thought that was a bit surprising. I gave Jacare it
was close.
I gave Jacare the first, I believe.
The second round was definitely a Weidman round.
Yeah. Second was definitely a Weidman. I gave Jacare
the first one was pretty close.
It was fairly close, so I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. But yeah, Jacare, that was a weird knockout. Wasn't really on the temple. It was like on the forehead. It was one of those weird forehead knockouts where your legs just go, and he is just not in this world. And Dan does a terrible job. So then,
frickin' Dan.
Yeah. So Weidman takes some more punishment after he almost got killed against Rockhold, and then Yolo had to knee him into oblivion, and Mousasi kneed him to oblivion. Like that's a rough last 4 fights for or 4 of the last fights for 5 fights for Weidman.
Right.
Kind of a weird thing. What do you do now? I guess Jacare's right there, even though Jacare, the only guy. Who did he lose to?
He lost to Robert Whittaker.
And it was close, and he lost to Gastelum, and it was close.
And Yolo,
which was really close as well.
Jacare fought Gastelum?
Yeah, that was the last fight. He fought. He went to a split decision with Gastelum at 224, and he lost.
Man, I'm struggling to remember that fight.
It was close. I was surprised it was a. I know some people gave it to Jacare. I think I was on Gastelum, so that's kind of a little bit of bias there. But
I need to rewatch that. I honestly am really struggling to remember that bout.
But I guess this puts Jacare kind of back 1 fight away from a title shot, which is kind of crazy.
I guess.
Did they do the Rockhold Jacare fight again?
That's what I was kind of hoping to see.
Because they've only fought once, right? For the Strike Force.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not a bad rematch. If Rockhold can never get healthy,
I'm into it.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
And then our main event,
Surprise.
Surprise! Daniel Cormier has no problem taking Derek Lewis to the mat. Anytime, any day, takes him to the mat, makes him humble, submits him second round. Shaun, was there anything about this fight that surprised you?
Not at all. I mean, this is Cormier dominated with a terrible, like a fucked up back. Never mind if he was actually healthy. Like, it comes out that Cormier this morning, or the morning of the fight, put out his back sneezing. Of course.
Yes.
Old man stuff right there. But nothing surprising this. He took down Lewis, who's a guy who has terrible takedown defense, and was able to do what he wanted with them. I guess the only thing that was a little bit of an unknown was whether it was going to be a sub or a TKO, and Cormier had been saying that he was going to sub him kind of all week, and that's what he did.
Yes, he did. There's nothing else to say about this bout.
Waste of time, just like we said it was going to be, but they needed a headliner. But whatever.
I mean, Cormier has built quite a resume for himself. You have to give him that. But he still hasn't gotten over the hump because he hasn't beaten the guy.
The guy who says he doesn't need to fight ever again.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Whatever.
We'll see. Yeah, exactly. Whatever. Anyway, that just about does it for UFC 230. We do have a fight card this weekend. Shaun will be there live. UFC Fight Night 139 in the Pepsi Center in Denver. Shaun, what do you think of this card overall before we kind of get into some of these bouts?
It was definitely looking a bit stronger before we had some injury pullouts. I think that's kind of just the reality of being a UFC fan at this point. It seems like every card takes a hit. One or two good fights get dropped along the way. We had Frankie Edgar fighting in the main event, and now that's obviously not happening. And Ricardo Ramos was supposed to be fighting, who's kind of an up-and-comer. He was going to fight Ricky Simon. That was going to be a solid fight as well, but that one's kind of out of there. So it's not like this is a huge fight card or anything like that.
Agreed.
Tickets were pretty damn cheap, so I can't be too angry about it.
No, you make good points on that. I agree. But there's some... I would say it's a deeper card than some other events we've seen. There's definitely some interesting bouts and some new prospects to look forward to. So, first fight up, and I think this will be a decent one, flyweight, Mark De La Rosa and Joby Sanchez. Shaun, what do you think of that bout?
What are you doing over there, Jay? Your mic all over you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this should be a good fight. You got Mark De La Rosa. It's tough to get too excited about these flyweight fights because we know what's going to happen to this division in a couple months or whatever, however long it takes to dissolve it. But Joby Sanchez, the Bellator veteran, who's or he wasn't a Bellator fighter, was he? No, he wasn't. He was a UFC guy. And
no, he was the UFC.
Then he went regional and then fought his way off back on the Contender Series, and now he's back. He got subbed last time in 1 minute and 50 seconds. Not a great look. Mark De La Rosa looked decent against Tim Elliott until he got choked out, and then beat kind of an unknown in Elias Garcia. I don't have too much on this fight. Mark De La Rosa is a fairly big favorite, minus 230. I'll take him, but I don't see an edge here myself.
Yeah, this is a tough fight. I slightly favor De La Rosa. I like his skill set from what I've seen so far in his UFC debut. I feel Sanchez is kind of long and lanky, more striker, and I think he could be exposed on the mat. But De La Rosa, but we'll see. I think De La Rosa is a calmer, smoother customer, and I think he gets it done. So I'll take De La Rosa here. Not strong enough position to bet, though. Second bout up, flyweight, as well, we got Joseph Morales and Eric Shelton, which would also be a pretty good flyweight matchup in a division that Nushaw and I don't know how long they'll be around for.
Eric Shelton, when he was on the tough season, he showed some pretty good skills. We kind of projected him to be a bit of a prospect, but he hasn't really come to fruition. Went to a close loss against Pantoja, who we think pretty highly of. Lost a split to Jared Brooks, who is pretty decent for a flyweight. But in those fights, he hasn't really shown the things that you want to see. He hasn't really progressed his striking. He's even been getting taken down in some of these fights. So that's a bit surprising that he kind of hasn't taken steps that we thought he was going to take. Morales is a guy that got knocked out by Figueiredo last time. Figueiredo's a pretty damn good flyweight, so that's not a terrible loss. I don't have any angle on this fight. Maybe Eric Shelton finally takes a step and shows some of those advances his repertoire. But I don't know. He's got a lot of losses. I think this is going to be do or die right here. He's got to win this fight. So I'll pick Morales, but no bet here.
Okay. I actually like Morales in this fight. I grade the prior fight I had De La Rosa C-, Sanchez I have the minus, Shelton a D+. Shelton's a guy that I think is really kind of underwhelmed in his UFC career. To try to grapple a bit, but just not overwhelming. And Morales I think is a really solid fighter. There's a lot to offer with him. I'm just trying to pull up some stats here if I can. Let's see. I mean, he's 9-1 in his UFC career, overall. I mean, he's just a solid customer. I mean, he beat Roberto Sanchez, really solid fighter. He fought Sean Santella, who's a pretty good regional fighter. And his only loss was to Davison Figueiredo. And, from what we've seen from Figueiredo, that's not a bad thing at all. I'm a little worried about, just this card with the altitude. But I just think Morales is a better overall game. I mean, in terms of actual, combat skills as opposed to just just being an athlete. So I'll take Morales here. And at even money, he's pretty close to a bet for me. What is not going to be a close fight, though, is John Gunther taking on Davi Ramos. Nushawn. How long does this fight last?
Ooh, I would probably say 3.5 minutes. I think that's a fair number. We haven't the extended props have not come out yet. Will be interesting to see what fight doesn't start round 2 or something like that. Gunther is
terrible,
absolutely terrible. He was terrible on Tough. Somehow he got a win against Alan Zuniga on the finale card, but he is so bad. Davi Ramos is going to sub him. It's going to be a matter of time. This is just one-sided beatdown. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, it's not going to be close. Gunther is terrible. There's no denying that. I got him as a D-, pretty close to an F. Ramos, he's just an athletic, an athletic specimen with a grappling game that we haven't needed to see yet, but his striking is pretty damn lethal as well. I just think he beats up Gunther. He's just there's just such a huge speed advantage, and a power advantage for Ramos. I would be pretty stunned if he doesn't get the finish. Next fight up, we have Julian Erosa taking on newcomer Devontae Smith. Nushawn? Devontae Smith, winner?
I hope not. because I throw a half a unit on Julian
Wow.
Erosa. If you lose to John Gunther, I'm going to have to fade you a bit. Devontae Smith lost to John Gunther a year and a half ago. Obviously, he's probably progressed since then, but that's a big stain. When you get finished by John Gunther, not a good look. This guy is shredded. I think if Erosa can stay away from the big power, I think Devontae Smith gasses out, and Julian Erosa, he's had a lot of fights. He's a veteran. I think he'll fight smart, wear on Devontae Smith until he gets tired, and then Erosa takes over and grabs a sub or a TKO. So I got him for half a U at plus 210.
I have Erosa D-. I got Smith a D. I mean, I just don't think Erosa is athletic enough to be competitive in MMA long term. Way better athlete, but obviously has some questionable losses. Erosa, is going to put the effort in. To get out athleted in fights, and I think that's what happens here. But I'm not super confident in this one. So we'll see. Really interesting bout next up on the prelims. We got top 15 lightweight Beneil Dariush taking on pretty highly touted prospect Thiago Moises. Shaun.
Dariush kind of gets the wolves thrown to him. He gets these unknown fighters that just come in and seem to do damage to him. Got knocked out last time by Alexander Hernandez out of nowhere, and now they're giving him a Brazilian prospect that obviously most UFC fans don't know who it is, but Dariush been knocked out twice in the last 3 fights. Didn't look great against Evan Dunham. I guess I'm not surprised the line is kind of where it's at, with Dariush only a small 140 favorite. Tough to go against Dariush's experience, but with that chin, it is a liability. So I would not be surprised Thiago Moises knocks out Dariush. I can't put money on Dariush coming off a KO like that, and a KO in 2 of his last 3 fights. So it's a stay away fight. Hopefully it's a fun one, and maybe we'll find another Brazilian prospect.
Yeah, maybe. It's very interesting. I mean, I haven't done my research on Moises. I'm going to have a scouting report later this week on him, so I'm going to reserve judgment for that. Featherweight, another featherweight bout, or rather, not another featherweight, another newcomer to the UFC, rather. Bobby Moffett, sounds like a fighter type name, versus Chaz Skelly. Shaun, what do you think about Moffett's chances here against Skelly?
Every time I hear Chaz Skelly's name, I think of, what is it, Chaz Michaels, or from
who?
Blades of Glory? Blades of Glory with Will Ferrell. Chaz Michaels. Skelly, for what he is, he's done fairly well. He got knocked out by Jason Knight, which is not really a good sign considering what Knight has done since. Skelly hasn't fought in almost a year and a half. That's not great either. Don't know much about Bobby Moffett, the Wolfman. He looked pretty good on the Contender Series. He's been on LFA. He's a LFA veteran, RFA veteran, so he has been fighting the upper echelon of the regional cards. So not surprised that this is a bit of a closer card, or closer lined fight. I have to go with the veteran. I took Skelly. I got him at minus 110, I believe, for 1 unit. Minus 106. Skelly just seems like he's always kind of underrated. I don't know if that's just because of how he looks and his body, but the dude's pretty damn good, has some good submissions, so I think he's able to kind of weather the storm and take over the fight and maybe snatch a sub late.
Yeah. I don't know much about Moffitt. I'm surprised this line is as close as it is, though, just because I think Chaz Skelly is a pretty damn good wrestler, and he's proven to be a pretty solid veteran. I mean, just like the Dariush fight, I mean, these newcomers are coming in and taking on above average classes. I mean, these are not easy fights to start your UFC career. So I'm really looking forward to these two bouts just to see, how these newcomers stack up, because a win against either of those bouts, and you have a new guy in those divisions who's going to be worth looking at, don't you think?
Yeah, it'll be good to see. I mean, they're kind of throwing him in the deep water a bit early, but I guess it's sink or swim, and we're going to find out what the deal is pretty quick.
Exactly right. Women's strawweight bout, two UFC fighters. We got Ashley Yoder and Amanda Cooper. New Shaun.
What do you think I did, Jay?
What? I knew exactly what you did.
So
I'm going to guess you played women's over 2.5.
No 2.5 yet. I just straight up played goes the distance. Those props haven't been released yet, so I'll just go with goes the distance. I'm gonna be in person, so either I'm gonna see a chick get choked out or tap, or I'm gonna get paid. So that's the way it goes. This is the first leg of a 3-leg parlay with. You can probably guess what else. Don't care who wins.
Oh, right. I'm not sure you're going to want to do that.
That's fine.
Depending which fight we're talking about, but yeah.
That's fine. Then I see a finish. I'm cool with that.
I lean towards Cooper in this bout.
Really?
Not by a lot. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Yoder can strike. I think that's a problem. I think the grappling is, I think Cooper can probably stop some of the takedowns. I think she's better on the feet, but man, I don't want to have my money on Ashley. What the hell, Bobby Cooper. Next fight, I'm really looking forward to two former tough guys. Mike, Jersey guy, I believe, taking on definitely MMA cult favorite, Violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena, New Shaun. Tell me about it.
It's exciting. This probably should have been what the final of the tough lightweights of that season should have been. Violent Bob Ross broke his foot in the very first fight, so he wasn't able to continue. Trezano went on to win, beat Joe Giannetti by split decision. That was a pretty terrible fucking fight. I don't expect this one to be terrible because Violent Bob Ross is a very, very fun fighter. His striking game is pretty damn awesome, and he's also got a pretty good sub game. 4 of his 5 wins are by sub, so I expect Giannetti to try to wrestle because I don't think he wants a striking match with the length of Violent Bob Ross, but I think Luis Pena should be able to stuff it and maybe get a highlight reel head kick or something like that.
That would be something.
I expect Violent Bob Ross to win. Can't lay minus 300.
Where'd they come up with this line? I mean, it's a little aggressive, don't you think?
Yeah, it's definitely elevated because of people liking Luis Pena, and he looked really damn good in that first fight, but yeah, I can't touch it. I expect him to win, but can't touch minus 300.
Can't touch this. Yeah.
That's right.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I got Violent Bob C-, Trezano a D+. I am surprised by Pena getting that much respect. I mean, I know people liked him from his UFC debut, but this is a bit aggressive. Trezano's not terrible at all. I think this is closer to line indicates, but I mean, I do think Violent Bob Ross just a more varied, tool set. I think that's what ultimately gets it done, but not 3-1. Then we got another women's bout. We got Hannah Cyphers and Macy Barber making their UFC debuts. Shaun, anything here?
Yeah, it's going to go to decision. Second leg of a go to decision parlay.
Are you sure you want to do this with Barber?
I don't care. I know she's got 4 of her wins by finish. If you look at who she fought, it's not great. So I know with some of these women fighters, they come in, they got a bunch of finishes, but you got to take into account who they're fighting, because some of these girls, let's see, the second last girl she fought was, clicked on, so she fought Audrey Perkins, like before the Dana White Contender Series. She fought a girl who was 4-1, so that's a deal. But before that, the chick was 1-0 that she fought. The girl before that was 1-1 fought. So I know she might get a sub here, but I'll take my shot with going decision, and she probably wins.
I like Barber a lot in this bout. I think she's definitely one to watch moving forward.
Minus 400.
I think that's
on a debuting fighter and a woman.
I think she's pretty good. I think she's solid. I really do. I've seen enough of her to think that. I think the UFC is going to push her. They gave her a bout that she should run away with. She'll likely be a parlay piece for me. Very good bout. Arguably the best fight on the card. From a skills perspective, we got Joe Benavidez and Ray Borg. Shaun.
I'm pretty big on Ray Borg in this fight. Couple different angles I like. Benavidez is in a weird situation right now. He lost to a guy in Sergio Pettis last time who's leaving the division after he lost his last fight. Benavidez is 34 right now. He's definitely looked like he lost a step or two against Cejudo and then again against Pettis. I'm not sure what's motivating him right now because, like we said, this division is getting dissolved sooner rather than later. And he's an undersized guy. Like, is he are we really going to think he's going to move up to bantamweight and do something there? Like, he's a small guy. And at 34 years old, there's not much there. Ray Borg, on the other hand, he's a bigger flyweight. He's had some trouble making weight at times. I think as he gets older, he's only 25. He's going to fill out and he's going to be a true bantamweight. He did lose that last time out against DJ. He hasn't fought in a year. That's a bit on the downside of betting him. He's also had some issues with his kid having lots of health problems. So there is some sketchiness on Ray Borg. But in this fight, I think Ray Borg is just going to be the bigger guy, quicker, more athletic, and he's going to be able to stuff the takedowns that Benavidez tries to go to, and I think he can outstrike Benavidez with the kind of slow down and downgrade of Benavidez in his last couple fights. So I got 2 units on Ray Borg at plus 125.
What was the price? Minus 125?
Plus 125.
Oh, plus 125, right, yeah. I got Benavidez a B and Ray Borg B+. From what I've seen, Benavidez is in the last couple of years, he's slowed down a bit in a division where speed is almost everything. He's still a pretty good tactical fighter, but he definitely takes more damage. He's taking on an excellent athlete in Ray Borg who can grapple a bit, pack some power in his punches. This kind of just seems like one guy kind of trending downwards, one guy trending upwards. I like Ray Borg as well. I think he gets it done here as Benavidez kind of continues a bit of a downswing in his career. Still a fine fighter by all means, but he was an A-level fighter, about 3 years ago, maybe as little as 2 years ago, and he's, a full letter grade down from that now as he's gotten older. And Ray Borg will be our consensus bet of the night.
Hell yeah.
Of the event. I know that Sosman is not with us today, but
Borg as well.
He does like Borg as well. So we will have a consensus play on Ray Borg, and that is currently priced at what news, Sean?
Minus 115. You can get it a little bit cheaper depending on where you bet it, but
shop it.
Yeah, it's at worst minus 115.
So yes, Ray Borg minus 115. 3 fights to go as we kind of roll through these. We got Jermaine Durandame and Raquel Pennington, new Sean. Are you going to go make it 3 for 3 on women's overs tonight?
You damn right.
Of course he is. What's the price?
So when you parlay all 3 of those women's overs, you get plus 232. I'll take my shots on that. If I get a finish or 2, I'll count it as a win so that I don't have to wait through 15 to 20 minutes of a women's fight. But I expect all of these to go to decision. Pennington's shown her toughness in damn near all of her fights. She was able to go 5 rounds against, not a complete 5 rounds, but went into the 5th round with Amanda Nunes. She's a tough chick, and Durandame's the same. Tough girl. Durandame hasn't fought in almost 2 years. Well, a year and 9 months. Not a good look. After all that shit show at plus 145 and her leaving the belt, she better do something or else she might be getting the boot. I think she's the better striker. I think she wins here and probably it's gonna be by decision. So I'll
you go Durandame?
Durandame. Her striking's just so much better. She's been in there with some good striker and was able to hold her own with Holly Holm and stuff like that. Pennington is tough, so she's going to stick around. So against some lesser fighters, she can kind of overcome some deficiencies that she has in striking. But I think Durandame is going to be too much, but definitely going to decision.
Fair enough. I think this is probably one of the hardest fights to call on the card. I got both girls a B-. Pennington's impressed me more. She's kind of gotten more experience, but she's facing a really gifted striker here, and a different kind of a striker than, say, like a Holly Holm. She's facing someone who's going to want to clinch. Just a different kind of game. On the ground, Pennington definitely has a clear advantage, but I think this fight really stays on the feet, and I think that favors Durandame pretty significantly. But I'm just worried about any time this fight goes to the ground. That makes me really nervous. So I'm not betting it, but I'm going to lean towards Durandame, but absolutely no bet. 2 fights left. Co-main, Maine. Co-main's going to be a lot of fun. We got Cowboy Donald Cerrone taking on Platinum Mike.
Mikey Platts.
Yes. New Sean. It's going to be fun, right?
I think it's going to be fun.
It better be.
Mikey Platts, he brings it in fights.
So does his opponent, though.
Usually the case. I did take Cowboy in this fight just for 1 unit at plus 190. He's definitely the more skilled fighter. I don't like how he's looked in the last couple of fights. He was able to kind of turn back the clock against Yancy Medeiros, but losing to Leon Edwards in a 5-round decision, I don't know why he went across the pond and took that fight. I don't know why he took the Taryn Till fight. I think Cowboy just needs a manager to tell him to turn down fights, but that's just not his style. This fight, there's a bit of bad blood with Cowboy leaving Jackson Winklejohn and Mikey Platts go in there. Cowboy's the much more polished fighter. Mikey Platts has got that power though, and Cowboy's chin has been degrading, so it's a bit scary. I hope Cowboy fighting in kind of his hometown gives him an extra edge here. The last time he fought in Denver didn't go so well. He fought Jorge Masvidal. I was there for that, and Masvidal just beat the crap out of him. So I'm a bit worried about that. But if this becomes just a straight striking match. I think Cowboy still has it in him. He's fighting at home. He's the cleaner striker. He can just pick Mikey Platz apart and frustrate him.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. I got Cerrone a C+, Mike Perry a C. As much as Cerrone has been downgraded, I mean, he's been super competitive in a lot of bouts. Just with Leon Edwards, who I grade above Mike Perry, that was really competitive. Perry's definitely hittable, a maniac, and he can absolutely knock out Cerrone. I'm not going to deny it. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Cerrone gets knocked out, but anytime this fight goes to ground, Cerrone has a huge advantage. I mean, there's a huge submission opportunity. Plus all the kicks that Cerrone offers. Mike Perry's really just a puncher. Cerrone doesn't need to worry about all the other weapons. It's just punching, right? I mean, Am I missing something?
No.
So it's a pretty straightforward matchup. I mean, you can usually tell a lot about Cerrone when you see him at the weigh-ins, how kind of into it he is. So that will be a telltale sign. But, if things hold out, I'm going to be betting Cerrone if all things look good. I mean, it's, I wouldn't bet him as a favorite, but he's a dog opportunity on Donald Cerrone fighting in his home area. Count me in. Main event. This one should be excellent, I think. We got the Korean Zombie Chan Sung Jung taking on Yair Rodriguez. I mean, a lot to like about this one, right, New Shaun? Fun main event.
Very fun main event that I have no clue what the hell's going to happen. Just being honest. You got the Korean Zombie who hasn't fought in a year and a half. And before that, he hasn't fought since 2013. So, in that Dennis Bermudez fight, he did get clipped a bit early, but he was able to take out Bermudez after that. But it's so tough to know what a fighter like that, what he has, what he's been up to. He's 31 years old, so that's a bit worrisome. And then Yair, we haven't seen him since the absolute mauling Frankie Edgar put on him in mid last year. He's been scheduled for some fights, pulled out of some fights, been cut, and then didn't get cut. So weird fight. Rodriguez has shown a pretty good variety of strikes. Sometimes I think he relies too much on the flashy and needs to work more on the substance. Korean Zombie, I think, would be smart to try to take this fight to the ground. I honestly don't know who's going to win this fight. I'll take the veteran at this point, but yeah, total just no idea what's going to happen here. What are your thoughts, Jay?
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of leaning. I got both guys a B-. I'm leaning towards Yair just because I haven't seen him finished.
Yeah.
And
except Frankie.
Yeah, but this is a different kind of fight.
Yeah.
Jung's not going to lay on him. I mean, he's just been so inactive over time. It's kind of like a weird fight.
Very weird.
I feel like Zombie can be hit. Yair has the crazy kicks. I mean, it seems more likely that Yair is going to knock out the Zombie than Zombie would knock out Yair.
Yep. And
I'm kind of leaning towards that happening. I'm not really confident in any way, but interesting, right?
I think it's going to be a very, very fun fight. It's just one there's so many unknowns in it. I kind of like it because I don't really have any ideas of what's going to happen, so I can just kind of watch it with a fresh mind and just be pleasantly surprised of what becomes of it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all for that. I mean, I like chaos.
Yep.
When it comes to sports, and sure, like this is kind of like a fun chaos card. I mean, it's not like a lot of ranked fighters on paper. I mean, was there like 3 fights with there's a few more than that. I think the main card's actually pretty sneaky good.
Yeah, I think the main card's good, and the The undercard's not bad either. Like it's just a lot of mid-tier fun fighters.
Yeah, and then you have some new guys which seem to have potential. So I think there's something there. I think you'll enjoy it from a live perspective. So it could be worse, could be better. It's fine. I think you're gonna have a good time. Let's root for chaos.
You betcha.
All right then. So we got a lot of events. There's 4 more events in November. Can you believe that?
They're pumping them out. They're trying to finish up this Fox deal real quick.
Yeah. So one thing I didn't realize is that there's a tough event at the end of November, and then also the same weekend there's an Australia card. So that's our first 2 UFC event weekend in a while.
Oh shit! I didn't know that either.
Yeah, Friday night and Saturday night for those of us in the States. So that will be fun. Fight card after this is they go to the first ever UFC card in Buenos Aires. Pretty cool.
The pontoon boat versus Magnomedov.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, we'll be back. Enjoy the fights, and let's see if another week goes by and if Floyd is still going to be fighting. So, they'll actually announce the rules of this fight. We might have our lock play if they announce the rules. We hope there is.
Don't hold your breath.
Don't hold your breath. All right. See you later, folks.